Hello out there, everybody. Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena, generously hosted by Game Pants. I am your host, Tim Voiceless Whitman, and joining me is my wonderful, excellent co-caster, Jared Baratel Castiglione. Tonight, we are going to bring you the next round of the Valorant NACE Skill Shot Playoffs. As we head into the round of 32, we have an excellent matchup for you tonight between Boise State and Texas A&M. Both of these teams have battled hard. They've battled long. They've had an excellent season behind them. And now, as we head into this next round, only one of them is going to emerge victorious. One will be going home, as we have a single elimination bracket here for you tonight. I have just one question for you, Baratel, before we get started with our round. I want to know what you think Texas A&M's chances are against the unbridled aggression that Boise State loves to bring out here in our first round of Valorant.
I know the power of this even proverbial desk. So I'm going to say, Voiceless, it's going to be 50-50. I don't want to give any team an advantage for Caster Curse to make me a fool of myself and force me to put my foot in my mouth. I'm not that flexible, so I don't even have to try. I do think, though, that when we come to these final stages of, if and not any tournament, specifically ones where Boise State is included, the teams that are amongst us in these higher ranks, in these higher stages of the bracket, they're really good teams. I mean, we just saw Boise State, who's had a completely dominant performance in terms of Overwatch, kind of have a tough time and not be able to clinch another further win to the final stages of the bracket. So that very well could be the same story here for Valorant.
It is shaping up, hopefully, to be a closer match, hopefully a little more competitive. Boise State running away with a lot of the matches that they've had earlier in the season. So this one stands, as we enter the higher and higher brackets up the playoffs, they stand to be more and more competitive, potentially putting Boise State through their paces. So what keys do you think are going to be really determine victory or defeat here for Boise State's squad as they face up against an opponent who should give them a little bit more of the run for their money?
I mean, we talked about this at the tail end of the broadcast last week, in which Boise State has kind of ridden the coattails of success by being just better in terms of gunplay. I think giant keys of success, or of course, to continue that dominant performance with that skill set, but to then play the map as methodically and kind of strategically as you need to start winning against these teams that also have gunplay.
Excellent point. I really think it is going to come down to a battle of information when it all comes down to it, because the gunplay is going to be more and more parity. Or you're going to have more and more parity in the gunplay as we head to the final areas of the playoffs, which are highlighted wonderfully here for us on the postseason schedule. We've got the first round here on Saturday and Sunday. And then the semifinals will be played on Tuesday, November 17th, followed by the grand finals on Friday, November 20th. Now, those are not the times that will be broadcast, I don't think. I think those are just the times that are played. The broadcast will follow shortly afterwards, and we'll keep you updated on when those happen. If you follow all of our different social medias here at Boise State Esports, I think we're getting ready to load up our first game, and we are going to throw it into the match. Just a reminder that we have the NACE Skill Shot Valorant Tournament here. We started with 50 different teams that were all set up in different groups. We battled through each of them in round-robin stages. We advanced here to the playoffs, and we have made it through one of our first rounds. This is the Boise State Blue Squad. Remember, Boise State does have two teams in the playoffs right now. They are slated to meet in the semifinals if both of them can advance that far. We have the Blue Squad and the Green Squad. This will be the Blue Squad playing tonight. That is the team that is going to feature your wonderful players such as Jazak and Pittman and...
Pittman.
Pittman, right? Excellent, Pittman. So it's going to be an excellent match for you tonight. We're going to have a little bit more details on who's who. We're even got the player cams up and ready for you guys this time, so we'll be able to see wonderful pictures of each and every one of our competitors there. It's going to be excellent. So we're going to throw it on over to our very first match very shortly here. It'll be interesting to see which match we end up going to. I'm not sure who ends up getting to select the first match. Do you know how that works?
Usually, when it comes to first pick, I think it goes to higher seed, doesn't it?
I think higher seed gets first pick, and it's loser picks after that. If memory serves. Okay.
There's Pittman on the Cypher as well. A very typical team comp, if you will. But in addition to the Reyna, we now also have probably some people's very favorite, the Rays coming out, which is pretty nice. And we see Texas A&M with the either beloved or hated Killjoy. So we'll still have to see if a team can figure out how to use this agent correctly.
It'll be very interesting. Also fielded here, we are going to have Zeke and Jabald and Broken. Broken will be on that Raze, Jabald on the Reyna, and Zeke on the Omen. That Omen controller is excellent for slicing up dangerous territory. Makes it real easy for their team to push in and take what they need to. Now, it'll be interesting to see what Broken will be able to get here on the Raze. She can do a lot of damage if her abilities are all used correctly. I wonder if Jabald did see just a flash of an enemy right there. I think he does know. Oh, he definitely knows now as he's going to pick up the first kill onto Yimmy and then pick up a second and a third. You monster, Jabald! Gets one onto No Mercenary and then another onto Spidey. It's 5 versus 2 for the Boise State Blue squad, and they are hunting the last 2 kills. Although the Seabass will answer back with a headshot onto Broken. Jazak will take down Mills. There's just one remaining, and he is long for this world. Jabald with 4 in that round. That's filthy, my son.
They kind of just, I mean, yes, kudos to Jabald for landing those shots, but they kind of just said, hey, Jabald, would you like to click our heads? Here are our heads. Here, click them. And yeah, Jabald was more than happy to oblige.
Absolutely. I mean, at least 2 or 3 of them did run into his line of vision there. Maybe a blind or a flash would have been a little bit more efficacious in that circumstance.
Ooh, I like that word.
It's a $5 word for you there.
Right.
I wonder if that would have given them a little bit more leeway to make the aggressive push that they wanted to. Jabald uncharacteristically missing a few of his first 4 shots there, but he will escape with all of his health and shields. Very aggressive push.
Oh,
2 quick kills coming in for Boise State, but No Mercenary will answer back with one of his own onto Pittman. Boise State down their Cypher. Jabald going to tank a little bit of damage from that explosive, but I think he will be all right in the end. Oh, Zeke with a quick headshot onto Mills. How did you see that? The Seabass is the only one left alive. The blind will come out, but he is on no health, and the Marshal from Jazak will take him down real quick.
I gotta ask you a question. That was a very interesting play. We usually see a lot of these teams that kind of get stopped momentum-wise, take a very cautious and almost inactive approach to playing against Boise State. But Texas A&M, they went 1 person short A and then 4-man rush long. What's the drive behind a play like that?
I think the idea, because you'll notice that the long push came through first, I think the idea was to force a rotation and everybody to turn their heads towards long to allow the guy from short to come up and get a couple quick kills. But the angle, you know, I can't remember who it was, to be perfectly honest, but somebody took an off angle there. And I think it just caught out the whole plan because, you know, the peak came through and it was already seen before it even happened. It might have been Broken, I think, took that off angle, something like that. And it worked out very well.
The moment I praised Texas A&M for being proactive and aggressive, they sit in their spawn for about a minute worth of time. They're trying to bait out Boise State here, and it might be the right call because Boise State typically likes to be the aggressors. Does look like Zeke's going to look for a nice division. Oh, but he does get taken away. Killjoy's going to find one on the back end. Broken will find another one. He knows where the rest of the players of Texas A&M are. You have the Marshals here in duplicate. Is it going to be enough as they are going to go for a quick plant on point B? The slow will come out here from the Sage. Rain will get a nice pick and some nice overhealing possibly to get themselves here. Pittman's looking for the Sage here, but he does get found out. Broken on the backside will pick up 2. And Boise State charges onto the point, goes for the defuse. And this player is completely stuck. Silva's going to have to outplay out of his mind. Broken jumps into the grenade. That's going to do it. Boise State being forced to react for the first time I think we've seen in a couple weeks, but it ends up working out for him.
In their very first circumstance, Boise State seems perfectly capable of performing a retake there. They were absolutely pushed out of the point, but they made it work in the long term. Very difficult, honestly, to say what Texas A&M could have done better during that round. I think they played it extremely well. I just think Boise State reacted in nearly flawlessly. Even a lot of the people that went down did so in a way that gained very valuable information for the rest of their team. So just well played by Texas A&M, even a little bit better played by Boise State, unfortunately.
Now they're trying something different again. Trying something new. They're going to point it to C here, and it's only one member here to defend. Boise State will suffer the first casualty on the other side. A nice shot here from Jazik will pick up one. It's going to be 3-3. Boise State knows they need to get to this point and fast, but they don't know where these defenses are made. Spike planted. Again, Texas A&M not wasting a second. Every second that they have here is methodical. Here comes that ultimate here. Reyna's going for the blind as well. He's going to get the massive amount of attack speed. Holy cow, the attack speed there is so much. These bullets are just cascading out of this gun. And Reyna's going to pick up one with the backup here for the rest of Boise State's members. They're going to look for a nice C-long help. And they do actually go for the defuse. They're going to split it up. That is such a team play, given both halves of that ultimate charge to Pittman as well as over to this Omen. So great play from Boise State. Again, being forced to react, but they're not uncomfortable doing so.
I love the ultimate usage there on the Reyna. It's a short cooldown, you know, only 6 ultimate pips to get the Empress online. And, you know, we see a lot of teams hold their ultimates for far too long because, you know, the ability is called an ultimate. Sometimes you feel like you need to use it to get a team wipe or something like that. But all it's really meant for is to gain your team an advantage, and it was used to perfection there. Honestly, just excellent ultimate usage. Empress coming out at a perfect time, I think.
Remind me to ask you a question during the turn of the round, because with the way that these teams are playing, there's no way to talk about downtime stuff, because there is no downtime. Gonna go for the nice garage play, gonna get a pick out, but the information's still given, and the grenade actually does pick up Spidey on the back end. So unfortunately for Texas A&M, a 1-for-1 trade. Nice shot here from Seabass. Jazik will suffer a nice peek, and they're going for another C rush here from Garage this time. Is it going to be fruitful, though? Boise State knows they need to get to this point as quickly as possible. They are going to suffer another casualty, a 3 versus 4 situation. Zeke, knowing he needs to wait for this 3-pronged attack, he cannot go in solo, because the moment that you go in against this team, Texas A&M, is the moment you get picked off one at a time. They need to go in here in tandem, and maybe they're going to be able to get this pick off this stage if they're going to continue to push forward. Look at this. They're split into every access point from C. If I can get it, C Long's going to be defended here from an ops. And actually, Pittman on the backside will pick up one, but Zeke as well as Pittman are going to get taken out from this Killjoy. And it looks like it's just going to be Jabald versus the world. Doing probably the smart thing and trying to play conservatively, but they're going to be hunted here in the next few moments.
I think he's going to try for the
Not
save.
enough time, though.
Yeah, he will get away with the gun. That is. I want to point out something very interesting. That is not Jabald, Jazak, excuse me. That is Jazak's second round with an op there. And it not quite going the way that they would like it to. Texas A&M do now, they'll buy through it once again. Jazak on 0 money, but he does pick up the op and heavy armor. It's a full buy for him, so if they can win this round, he will manage to hang on to it. But Boise State going to need to play careful with their eco there. If they give too much more away, they're going to find themselves with a pistol-only round and be giving rounds away over to Texas A&M for free.
And this is the kind of questionable situation in which we have to find out what kind of team Texas A&M is. Are they conservative with the ultimates, or they try to use it for advantage? Look at the damage coming through this smoke. It's going to be a massive spray. Zeke's going to go for 3. Can he go for 4 here? A fantastic play and a brilliant call out. He said, Texas A&M, I got you read like a book. You ain't going anywhere. I don't know where you are. Will he go for this 4th kill as well? No, unfortunately not. Broken's going to pick it up with a grenade. It's Omen v. Omen. The Seabass is on the backside, but he's going to miss some crucial shots. A flawless round will definitely spur up the momentum here for Boise State, especially after losing a point. I think they're starting to play things a lot more seriously, because this Boise State team does not like to lose. No,
they do not. That looked a little
Quick
bit
question.
Like...
Sorry.
Oh, go for it.
Sorry to interrupt. Before we get past this buy phase, I know that we have the Rays here on Boise State. What kind of benefits does she offer? Because we typically see the Phoenix here in place of that.
I think the Rays is very interesting as a pick, and I honestly prefer it in a lot of situations. She trades utility for lethality. So there is no blind, there is no self-heal, there is no wall. But what you trade for that instead is the ability to flush enemies out of any corner you choose, or they die. That's essentially what Raze brings to the table. You know, the grenade goes in, the boombot goes in, her blast packs go in. You can force people to move where you want them to at the risk of themselves dying if you choose to go with the Raze instead of of the Phoenix there. Broken with the spray down, gonna get one. Jabald gonna answer back with 3 of his own. It's disgusting. That's the second round in a row where they've picked up far too much for far too little. Jabald gonna get 4 in that round, and they're gonna bring their 6th win online. It feels like Boise State feel a little insulted that they dropped a round there. They're not playing anymore.
Absolutely. We saw that in entirely how they played that round. Even though it's a play we've seen so far in this map from Texas A&M, the C Rush, Boise State played a lot more strategic. They were able to use even just the Cypher scouting and then the Sova Sonic arrow coming out, making sure to get as much vision as possible. We saw the drone spot out 4 members, and at that point, that bought so much time for the rest of Boise State's squad to say, hey, now you can rotate. As opposed to being forced to play with a man disadvantage, they rotate with the information given to them from their comp and then get themselves a nice even man advantage fight.
And when you get spotted, 4 of you get spotted, smoke isn't going to do much. You can spray through that smoke. You're going to catch somebody if there's 4 of them in there.
A rush, and I think Pittman knows that something's fishy happening here. He's backing up for a little bit, trying to get to heaven as quickly as possible. Will it be enough, though? They hear the steps. Jabal knows that there's something going on.
Revealed.
And the trap wire is going to be tripped. Another 2-piece from Jabal. Will he go for another 3 or 4?
They don't know where he is.
The Randy overhealing.
Nobody saw him.
He has no idea.
Revealed.
Oh, no, he went for stalking, right? Absolutely. So they have no idea where this repositioning went for Jabal. Will he be able to push forward? No. He's going to just conserve and say, I'm going to sit on the point. We have someone rotating in the back end. And Seabass is nowhere near their team. Not saying that Omen could have prevented any of that from happening, but I still feel like being this disconnected isn't going to do too well. But if you get picks like that in a 1v1, Seabass proving that they could potentially be an anchor for their team. Unfortunately, the spike is all the way on the other side of the map.
Seabass's MO seems to be that he loves the flank. Now, that can work out for you incredibly well if you flank at the same time. Ooh, Jazak with the op says, sit down. That can work out incredibly well for you. I was saying, if you flank at the same time that your team wants to go in. If you come in later, as has been happening with Seabass in the last few rounds, you're only really going to be able to pick up exit kills and damage the eco. If the spike goes down in a defensible position, it doesn't matter how much, how good you are, how good your gun is, where you come from on the flank. You can't take out Phi without somebody calling out your position, and then the flank is null and void. So I think it's not a bad play from Seabass. I think he needs to either go faster or the rest of his team need to go slower so that the flank comes in at the same time as the rest of his team. Because as it stands right now, it's just not having the effect that I think Texas A&M would like it to have. Broken just peeking. He's sitting in the dark cover waiting for it to drop. Very bold move. I think he knows that there's enemies outside, but he's not taking a spray just yet. He doesn't want to give up his position until he knows. Oh, pulls back right before the dark cover drops, and now they have to push into him. Excellent dodge of the blind there. The spray coming through. He's going to get 2 before he gets taken down by Mills. Jabald has picked up the defense, though. He knows that they will be coming through garage, and the rest of the team is rotating to help cover that. Ooh, unfortunate timing. Jabald going to look away right as the peek comes through from the Sova on Texas A&M. Zeke with the Vandal going to get the Seabass, anticipating the flank as it comes through, and Texas A&M have given up on C. It looks like they want to go for an A-site push. I don't know if Boise State is going to see this coming before it happens.
They do have the tripwires there, and if Pittman's aware, immediately switches the camera saying, I don't know where these guys are. Let me see if I can check camera, see if I can find something. And immediately switches over to the heaven position. So they're ready here in position to react. You got to wonder, though, when it comes down to it, what's Texas A&M's goal here? I mean, you have to go for a 2v4. Are they just trying to run Boise State ragged by switching from A to C and C back? Like,
I mean, it's a good plan.
Kind of a risky move, but it could work.
They don't have enough time to go for much more than that. They need to plant now. Jabald is going to get it on Mills, and now it's just Spidey left remaining. He will get the spike down, but I don't know how long he's going to stay alive. Not very long as Pittman picks up the wall bang onto Spidey there, and the defuse will come through. They're going to
split this one up. They sure will.
They will. I like the team.
Who are they giving it over to? Oh, no.
No. Nobody wants it. I think everybody's ults are already online.
True, I guess you have a point.
There's such team players.
To say, hey, can we check?
Yeah, they want to check, make sure. But Boise State with all 5 ults online. Now, I don't hate the decision to rotate away there. I think they knew that Boise State was in a defensive position. I think it worked out well for them. I just don't know if B site was the site that I would like them to rotate to. They were short on time.
Yeah.
I'll grant that. But I think if they had, just been a little bit less indecisive, they could have possibly made it to C site, which is a little bit more defensible.
Absolutely.
B site is tough to hold down when you have a squad of 5. Doing it with just 2 guys is a very tall ask. Oh, Jazak
nice
with the
shot
op.
from Jazak.
He has finally
go for
come
the 2
online.
piece. Will he go for the 3? The wall come up from Sage will be enough. Fire in the hole that we need to raise is here. Will not pick one on the back end, but Broker doesn't need it. They have their own other gun. Just go for the shot, Jazak. Just go for the blind shot. For those at home that are wondering, why aren't they just shooting on these red silhouettes? They can't see those. It's a spectator thing only, so
yeah, we get the
unfortunately not able to
ability.
be given that god sight.
Yeah, we get the ability to see enemies through walls as it helps us, but they cannot see anything except for what is directly in front of their line of sight. Walls do exactly what you think they do. They cover up the sight of enemies there. And after a couple early rounds of dropping that op, Jazak has absolutely come online. His aim is on point, and he is picking up the kills that you need to pick up if you're going to invest 5,000 credits in a gun.
Great angle, was able to hold that defensively, and then, I mean, despite I bet they would have gotten some more eliminations, but gosh darn, the rest of the squad came in and kind of just took them away. So, I mean, that's you want to get out the W, but you want to pad your stats a little bit.
It's all about the stats. You're trying to pick up as much of an ego boost as you can there. If you can't, wow, Zeke and Spidey going to trade out. Broke it. Wow, all kinds of trades going on. This round has just erupted in violence immediately. Yimmy barely going to dodge the Hunter's Fury, but gets sprayed down by Pittman as the round ends. Boise State up 10-1 as we head into the final round of the half. Wow, this has been very dominant.
I think the big thing to note is now Boise State knows that they don't need to use their ults to kind of get themselves an advantage. They have enough money in their pockets, so they don't need to desperately try to use any sort of big advantage move to get themselves back in a good monetary status. And beyond that, the ultimates that they have, they're ones for, I guess, great adaptation. You use the Cypher ult to say, okay, I know where everyone is. Of course, the Reyna ult is there for that 1v1 potential, and then Omen's there to flank, but because Texas A&M is so aggressive, there's no opportunity to flank, really. Nice shots here as actually this Killjoy player will pick up 2-3 for their team as Boise State getting caught out of position and losing these 1v1 gunfights. Gonna see if they can get themselves out of the Sova ult. They do so with the quickness because they don't want to get shot by giant lightning arrows or anything like that. And the spike has been planted, Boise, so it's going to take a couple moments for Boise State to figure out how they want to approach this point.
Yeah, Boise State's only kill during that round so far, coming from the early grenade. Coming from the early grenade there on wow! Wow, Yimmy, is he going to get the ace?
One away from the ace.
Oh, no! There it is, the ace!
Oh, they actually got the ace!
The ace from Yimmy! Wow. Texas A&M
does. Only
does.
Boise State could pull that off.
No, Texas A&M does finish the round 10-2, but the momentum shifts as the round ends. Texas A&M not going down in that half without a fight.
That Pittman just as symbols for the name.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. I didn't notice that.
We just call them symbols now.
Symbols.
It's production approved, so.
Hey, if that's what it takes, should we start calling them symbols?
I'm down. We have to make sure to specify it's not, metal symbols, but like hieroglyphics. That's what we initially called them when he first came on the scene, was hieroglyphics, because we couldn't read the name.
That's so funny. That'll be interesting. So it'll be interesting as we launch into the second half here. Will Texas A&M's favors change on the defense? Maybe they're just not an offensive team. It'll be interesting to see if they have any better luck in the second half of this match. As they play on the defense, they're all going to get revealed by Jazak's Owl Drone there. And Boise State they're not going to push into C. They've seen there's 3 on site, and they do not fancy it. It looks like they might like B.
They might look B. They are considering flirting with short A. Looks like they might just go full send to A because of the distance it's going to take for Texas A&M to get here. They might be able to eke out an advantage. And again, I think it's smart to say if some Killjoy is playing the hero or the agent correctly, that you want to avoid that defensive setup as much as possible. They're going to go for the plant here. The spike will be planted with no contesting. Broken will actually pick up one again, but this time with the bot. And again, just like you were saying, there are more fatals than this Phoenix could ever be. Jabal looking for one as they rotate in. Not a lot of opportunity and not a lot of positioning for Texas A&M to go in, but a one-for-one trade as Yimmy's going to pick up another one for their team, but they will shortly fall. Jabal getting another set of overhealing. Give themselves a huge amount of health advantage. It is 3 versus 1. They know exactly where this Omen is. Goes for the 1v1, but unfortunately not able to find it as the Seabass will pick up one for themselves as well. This Sova is so far back. It is up to Pittman in the 1v1, and he gets through the smoke. Gets the plant. It will explode. Sorry, Pittman. Symbols, you are... Oh! Lucky. Lucker dog.
He got away with it. I need to give a huge shout out to Zeke there for some unsung hero level play right there. He throws in the blind at the exact perfect moment to keep Jabald alive as he's going to trade out on that Reyna. The blind comes in and gives Jabal just enough time to get the headshot and get out of danger. Now, he did fall later in the round, but he picked up enough kills to make that absolutely broken. No pun intended with the player on screen for Boise State there. And like you were talking about in the last round, we are definitely seeing the trade out that you get when you play this Raze over the Phoenix. You know, I've seen Broken with upwards of 5 or 6 kills based off of the util alone because of, you know, the damage you can bring to the table instead of the blinds and walls that Phoenix can bear. Looks like we're going to have a 3 versus 3.
Owl drone will go out just to get information through garage, but it's not necessary as Boise State knows where they are. They are going to put out some nice cages here. The camera's set up in a great position. Jazzik will lose a bit of health, but not so much that they can't take that again. The Sage has no opportunity to rotate, and they're not going to be let through to pass opportunistically through that garage door. Nice blind here from the Brimstone. Will be enough? No, it's not going to be enough as he gets spotted out. One player remaining here on the defenders, but it's not going to be enough as attackers win out.
Match point.
Doesn't quite check the corner just enough.
Match point here.
Yeah,
this just do or die here for Texas A&M on this map.
Yeah, needed just a little bit more of a corner check there. Unfortunate, you know, everybody can sometimes get a little bit hasty, but you know, when the match especially, but when the round is on the line, you got to be very thorough in your corner checks because that was the difference between the victory and the defeat in that round there for Texas A&M. As we get another great look at all the handsome faces that make up our Boise State Blue squad that is playing it here tonight. We're going to see the recon arrow come in from Texas A&M as Zeke responds with a dark shadow. And blind, I believe. Yes, blind did go in. As he's going to spray bullets into B, trying to get a lucky pick, but there will not be anybody there to meet the bullets he is sending out. Boise State appears to be favoring a slight push towards A site once again, although they're not committing to anything very quickly. I like the restraint. It, you know, to have more than one tempo can play in their favor as they keep Texas A&M off balance and keep them guessing about what is going to be coming next.
And despite what maybe seemed to be a lack of aggression, I still think that the way that they're playing it methodically, they still have an aggressive intent. Boise State's one of those teams that, despite them taking their time to get to the point, the moment that things happen, the moment that the guns are going to come out immediately like that, things are going to get explosive. They're going to check heaven. They're going to get the second pick as well. Jabal looking at every angle. He knows where he needs to defend, but the cage will come out. He only needs to watch this heaven here to keep everyone at a safe distance away from Texas A&M. Nice shots out from Sage, but he can't win out. And Pickman with the fantastic set of flicks there. Zeke's going to go for another one as well. How high are these DPIs? It doesn't matter as Boise State picks a flawless for the map win. Texas A&M, they start making some changes here for the second map.
Boise State is victorious as they finish that one off with style, ending on a flawless there on Haven. That was, in a word, one-sided. Although Texas A&M did pick up 2 round wins, I often felt like they seemed almost more mistakes on Boise State's part that caused that. I not to disparage any of the effort that was gone in by Texas A&M, but it seemed like Boise State kind of beat themselves in the rounds that they lost a lot of those times.
Right. I wonder, we often talk about, and I always like to make sure that we keep a nice separation from games, but there are some parallels that can be talked about. When it comes to being able to pick a map strategically, I always find it interesting that the least favored or the least picked maps aren't ones that teams secretly practice in attempts to catch their opponent off guard. Mainly referring to Icebox as a map. Considering it's the newest one, it's hard to say whether or not teams have a tremendous amount of practice. And that is a surefire, or not maybe surefire, but a favorable way to get yourself a map win, which at this point in time, Texas A&M desperately needs.
And even more than Icebox, it does seem that a lot of competitive teams like to avoid a split because it can be so defensively favored. A lot of times, the team that comes out and ends up being the attacking team first can have a huge advantage on that map just due to the fact that it is so oppressive to push into as an attacker. So if they choose to pick that map or Icebox, although I don't know if Icebox is in the rotation at the moment for available maps in the Skillshot tournament. We'll have to see. But if they end up picking one of these off maps that we don't see nearly as popularly, it will be interesting to see if Boise State has any sort of weaknesses or lack of practice that will come into place. I don't know that we have seen Boise State play on. I don't think we've seen them play on Split.
We have yet to see a split game because that would have been probably the hypest boy.
All about them ropes.
Evidently, the rope. It's literally all about the ropes. I mean, we've seen Haven on pretty much repeat. It's kind of like the first map that we often see.
Haven and Bind are kind of the golden boys.
Bind, yeah, Bind is definitely a golden boy. Ascent can be kind of interesting to play. Again, we don't see it too often because I still think, and this is kind of maybe just me taking a long shot, that it is pretty defender focused. I mean, you have an entire stretch of a wall that can be wall banged, so that's no fun.
I am personally not a very big fan of Ascent. I think that it is incredibly oppressive for both the defenders and the attackers. If somebody is completely, for example, just as a quick example, a site on Ascent, if either team has it locked down, you have 3 options to get in there. And usually one of them is, none of them are great. And usually one of them is a no-go because either the door is shut or you don't have enough time to rotate around to go through a main. So there's just not. And speak of the devil, we're here on Ascent.
Look what we did. Caster curse.
Yeah. So we can talk about this really quickly as the game begins. So if you're able to look at the mini-map there, you can see that there are really only 3 entrances to A. One of them does have the closable destructible door. One is Heaven, and the other comes from the attacker's spawn A main.
Whoa!
If you are unable to have time to rotate there, you're really only left with 2 options to enter that site. And when you have an entire team locking down, you are hard pressed to get in either one of those doors with any people alive. So this map is not my favorite for that reason.
And for the folks at home, the names are currently switched. We have Boise State on the red side of things, whereas Texas A&M is on the green side. I was going to say, it's very atypical for Boise State not to take the Reina, but they do have it. But they picked Jet for the first time, I think, that we've seen since they started this season.
Will be interesting to see. It hasn't panned out for them yet so far.
Won't see them this round.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if they get much more with it in future rounds. Zeke will get one on Yumi. And will be send out the dark cover. They're going to push into A. It seems they favor that one. No, not the Zach does not favor the recon arrow, and they may be reconsidering going to A. Unbeknownst to them, it is completely empty. They would be very wise to do so, but they just don't have that information right now. So they will rotate away, which may, they may out-rotate Texas A&M. They may get in their heads. There is only one player on B site for Texas A&M right now. So if Boise State pounce, they can pick up the kill and end up defending the site. But they're going to send in the blind from Jabald. The peek will come through, but not catch anybody as the dark cover comes out at the exact right moment to protect Boise State as they push into sight there. Right behind, Pittman will get taken out by the Seabass using the classics right click, but he will answer back with one of his own. We are in a 2v2 scenario here. Boise State, Jazaki's on the flank, Jabald is on site, so there is a sandwich going on, but Boise State need to plant right now. Actually, no they don't. They're just going to pick up all the frags and win. Who needs the spike when you frag?
Well, I think that it was questionable to just leave like the deployables there on B. Yes, you know, the Cypher camera can give you the information. We have no one there to capitalize on it. The moment that you gain that advantage, it quickly dissipates because Boise State, as you can clearly see, were able to not only push through camera's vision, but get themselves to, of course, the plant site and not really give it up too contestedly. Of course, it was a 1v1 situation at the end, but I still feel like Boise State was pretty comfortable in that. Jazak's going to go for a nice shot here. Unfortunately, the Marshal's not going to find their mark. Does do a tremendous amount of damage, so maybe it did actually do what is intended. Besides getting the elimination, they are going to go for an A rush. Yeah, he got the body shot. That's the kind of the risk you take while bringing the Marshal. Nice verticality here from Broken. Going to see what he can do up in the air. Does have some smoke screens left to deploy, and he's waiting to hear those footsteps. Don't know if he's going to be anticipating so much resistance, as 3 members from Texas A&M are going to that heaven push. And on the backside, Boise State is getting sandwiched here from the other side of things. But these are crucial moments in which they need to capitalize on. Seabass is going to take one away. Broken's going to be in the smoke to be able to protect themselves for a little bit, but steps out and immediately gets taken out. Boise State faltering here just a little bit. But there's a very little time for Texas A&M to go for the defuse. They are going to start it. A nice shot here. The immediate headshot. Will he go for the second one? 15 health remains. He just needs to stop this plant from being defused. And he actually gets the clutch. Will he get away? No. He will sacrifice his life, but ultimately worth it. Hashtag worth.
Absolutely worth, as Jabal picks up his 4th in that round and keeps Boise State alive in the round, picking up the second round win. Now, I don't know what patch this game was played on. I'm assuming the most recent, which would be 1.11. So that death that Jabal had to the Spike's explosion does not actually count as a death. He will lose his gun, which is unfortunate for Boise State's eco, but his KDA will not be affected. So all about them stats, he will not chalk up another death right there on the counter to the Spike. As I don't know if they're
playing out of their mind.
I don't know if Broken knows that there's a player on his left. I believe that's the Omen. Is he going to dry peek in and get himself killed, or will they send him to... Oh, he uses the tailwind to get himself out of danger and does manage to get away with his life, although the Seabass will pick up Pittman, and Yimi will get one of his own. So Boise State down 2 as we start the round. Jazak will use that op of his to answer back with one of his own, but the blind comes through and Broken is going to have to hide in the corner. He is stuck, and Yimi with the spray through the smoke will find what he needs. The Spike is down in mid, and it's just Jazak with his op and 50 health. I don't know if he's going to be able to clutch this one out and get the Spike back in any sort of a reasonable time frame. He may just want to save the op, get any exit kills of people who are stupid enough to wander into his cone of vision there, and, you know, play for another day, because I don't know, even with the op, if he can 1v4 while they have control of the Spike.
It's going to be dangerous. He steps out here. He's walking into sighted territory, so he needs to be a little careful. I do believe the cam is player controlled at the moment.
It is. He's standing
so
still.
It is active.
Yeah. So
no longer active? No, it is active. That's why it's yellow there.
Yeah, so the Cypher is currently looking through the camera. If at any point he chooses to walk into that area that which Jazak was looking there, Jazak will know about it, because he did... so he knows that there is an enemy behind him, and he knows that there is an enemy in front of him. If he was listening, he would have heard the footsteps, as that Cypher was not sprinting before he... he was sprinting before he decided to... start looking at the camera there, but time will expire and Jazak will take the op with him into the next round, as Texas A&M do pick up their first round win here on Ascent.
A nice play here from Texas A&M. I do believe that they had a nice intention of holding the middle of the map here for as long as possible, and I guess it really the biggest critique I had for Boise State was it didn't seem that they had a intention behind winning maybe those gunfights there in the middle. The whole planting situation, I don't feel like it was all ironed out in terms of a plan. So hopefully now they are able to get themselves more of a concrete idea as to what they want to do to get them planted. It looks like B will be the option for this particular round. No members from Texas A&M are currently showing. The Skate will come out. A nice shot, but it does actually miss. Did have the opportunity to get... Nice pickup here. Gonna go for the op switcheroony.
Excellent use of the tailwind.
The op here. Absolutely.
I love that tailwind to get the op out of harm's way there. I do agree with you. I do feel like oftentimes Boise State will push into a site, look for frags, and then decide where they'd like to plant the spike. For better or for worse, that seems to be coming back to bite them a little bit right here. Texas A&M do have the defense they need. They're keeping Boise State out of the points, and now Boise State, you know, once again, a one versus many scenario, trying to clutch with just an op, and, you know, the spike is not carried.
It's possible.
So it is definitely possible, but, you know, I wonder if Boise State did plan just a little bit more about their site positions before committing, you know, looking for frags second after picking a spike location, if they would have a little bit more. Oh, unfortunate peek there from the breach. He will get himself taken out by the op, held in the hands of Broken, and he does pick up the spike. He's got 20 seconds remaining, and the ult is out from Jet, so A side is completely undefended.
Go to A.
He is. He's going to plant, and he will have defender's advantage. They're going to have to push into him and his op, so this is still absolutely possible for Boise
every
State.
dagger as well. Got 5 daggers remaining, if I'm not mistaken. No, 4 daggers, but
he did throw
that's
out one.
more than enough to handily hold this.
Yeah, and he's going for the flank as well. If he plays this well, the window is there, and the window makes noise when shot. So they'll know he's coming, but he gets one, and it's just a 1v1. 20 health and a dream. But the defuse is coming through. He's got to do something. He's got to do it. Oh, the bait comes through. He stops it halfway. So luckily, that does work in favor of. Oh, and he gets him in.
He's still at the op, though.
He get the op. 4 kills for Broken as he clutches the round. 1 versus 4, and Broken finishes the round by himself. What team? What team?
I mean, I guess that's why you take Jet.
That's why you take Jet. Absolutely coming in clutch there. The tailwind that allowed Jet to pick up the op, and the verticality used to get on top of the boxes and put himself in off angles is absolutely what gave the round to Boise State there. The Jet pick coming in spades.
Yeah, really good play here from Broken, but you have to wonder, Texas A&M, you knew where the bomb was, you just bunker down on that sucker, and you don't let anyone exit or enter that area. Going for those 1v1s here in the mid, there wasn't much to be done, right?
That was a little bit questionable. I don't know if allowing the spike to be picked up was the correct play there from Texas A&M. I do think that if they held the spike from multiple angles, that would force Broken to be the aggressor, and the op is not necessarily best used as the aggressor. So potentially a round-changing scenario there. Pittman with an off angle will get the spread, but not what he needs in the kill. Texas A&M will escape. Wait.
No, he did fall.
He did fall.
It just looked bad.
Okay.
Yeah, he did actually get the kill, but unfortunately, it was like literally just like praying that sprays in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. He did get it through the ground there. I didn't see the graphic come up in the kill feed, so I wasn't sure if the kill actually went down. But he did get the kill. Yumi will answer back with one of his own. So Boise State in a 4v3, and they do have control of A site. Spike goes down, and Mills will make it equal. 3v3. 2v3. Now, as Boise State down 1 player, the op in Broken's hands.
That actually worked.
Never to be underestimated, though. Broken is holding the long sight as the wall comes out from Phoenix, and a very unfortunate blind does not impact Zeke, but it doesn't matter because the gunplay comes down and he gets the kill anyway. The fake defuse comes in trying to bait Broken out of the long sight. It will not work, but he will get sprayed down to 70 health, and the defuse is going to come through. I don't know if he's going to have what he needs to finish him off. Yimmy with 4 in that round, answering back with a very dominant performance of his own. He's not going to let Broken have all the glory.
Yeah, Yimmy doing a phenomenal job. You do have to question that the flashbang didn't hit anything. So Boise State had complete opportunity to get the jump there on Phoenix and just were unable to capitalize. And keeping Yimmy alive there, or Yimmy at least staying alive, was what proved to be successful for them. That's kind of maybe, again, we talked about the first map, maybe that's their anchor player, the one that's able to consistently clutch up, if you will.
Yimmy did have the ace. Yimmy was playing the
true.
The Killjoy, and got the ace in the last map. So Yimmy may be their clutch player who comes in when the team needs him to the most. We'll see if he can get much more for himself and for the Texas A&M squad as we head more into Jabal, daring to poke into the... Wow, the Seabass with the wall bang onto Zeke, but Broken answers back, so we're in a 4v4 as Boise State are favoring the A site once again. Now Broken is pushing up. Window is already broken, so the noise will not be made, and he gets the flip real quick onto Mills.
Me.
One-shot headshot. He's not wasting any time. He may know somebody is coming up the Heavens side. He just from the just game sense, as he peeks in and gets another instant headshot onto the Seabass. Absolutely disgusting, and it's just 1v3 at this point. No Mercenary back in mid, gonna try and hide and save his gun. I don't think he's gonna try for any sort of heroics here. Boise State will pick up their 4th round win, as No Mercenary will hide in the boathouse, I believe.
You gotta be careful. I don't think that Boise State really sends anyone to hunt here because they just want to continue to get these map Ws or these round Ws. But wow, let's just talk about Broken's. Just not only the aim, but they are able to flick consistently at high level like 90% of the time.
Absolutely. I mean, and crosshair placement is a big part of aim in Valorant. You're not necessarily going to be hitting a lot of ridiculous flicks. You know, crosshair placement and quick reaction time will win you fights more often than flicks or aim. You know, just split-second aim and things like that will. But in the rare moments when it does make a difference, Broken can absolutely capitalize on people. He gets 2 quick headshots from off angles, and I believe first gun out of the first bullet out of the chamber does hit the headshot in both cases. I don't believe there was any spray there whatsoever.
Yeah, and I mean,
he'll get another
it's crazy
one.
because the more you move, it's so tough to continue to keep that spread from getting too drastic, but able to, when necessary, keep themselves very, stationary, keep themselves very adamant, and kind of plant their feet and get another continued elimination. And again, even just this round, getting themselves an immediate early advantage, going for the 2-piece as well. Not really missing too often here for this Broken player.
No, he's got himself 2 already with the op in this round, putting Boise State in a 5v3 scenario. I do want to highlight, just really quickly, for any viewers who may not be incredibly familiar with Valorant, as Chazak will get the drop on Spidey and get a kill of his own. For any players who may not be familiar, your spread is decreased when you crouch. So if you see any of our players crouching in the middle of a firefight, it's because they're trying to narrow the spread of their bullets and hit somebody who may be a little further away than they may have been anticipating.
I thought they just had a cramp and they were trying to like stretch their legs or something.
Charlie Horse.
Right?
No Mercenary. I think
they're walking around so much,
doing lots of walking, crouching, trying not to make any noise. It makes sense. You got to eat that potassium, bananas. Otherwise, you'll get the cramps.
Have you tried to walk without making noise? It's kind of hard.
It's very hard. I'm surprised all these agents can do it so well, especially wearing all the different armor. I mean, Sova's got a bow strapped around his back, and he can do it.
True. Also, how can Omen breathe? Let's be honest.
I don't think
Omen
he's
human?
still alive anymore.
He's dead? He's a zombie?
Well, something like that. Some of his voice lines allude to him being not quite all human anymore, or something. It's a little
cool.
It's a little interesting. I for one would love to hear a little bit more lore in Valorant. I know it's not necessarily what a lot of the player base is interested in. There is small drip feeds of content, character lore that you get from the little interactions you get before each round, but sometimes I do wish we got a little bit more backstory in Valorant, because I do find a lot of these agents very interesting.
You saw Boise State looking very dangerously close to the gelato. You got to be careful though, because there's no time to take a break just yet. We have to continue to win this map if they want to continue to move on to the tournament, and then you can have your gelato.
Now Boise State are up by 3 rounds. It is 5-2, but that is far from an unreachable, an unsurmountable
disparity.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. That trying to put too many $5 words into one sentence at a time.
I got you. That's why we cast together.
Thank you. Yeah, so Texas A&M absolutely can still come back from this, especially if Jabal can pop off on the Reyna like that. Oh, he doesn't quite get the 3rd kill. Perhaps some tap firing would have been a little bit better than the continued spray, but sometimes you panic in those situations and you just want one bullet to connect. And sometimes the spray doesn't always work out your way. There was a little bit of a RNG there, so, just a little bit of luck keeps Jabald from clutching out that round all by himself. So Texas A&M will go up 3-5. And like I was saying, few bad rounds and we're all tied up once again. So Boise State are far from a position where they can rest on their laurels.
It's the caster curse.
It is the
Works
caster
every time.
Every time. Never try and, say that one team is in any sort of advantage and never try and do math on cast. Both are going to go incredibly badly.
I just want to see the tiny hatchet again. Is that possible?
Oh, I miss Tiny Hatchet.
Yeah, we do this. We cast for tiny hatchet. That's our motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Boise State motivation here, specifically trying to get themselves, to finish out the game. 5-3 is going to be the round score, so pretty far from that finish line, but they do have it in sights as they are continuing to play, I think, ever more increasingly strategic and methodical, especially on a map like this.
Oh, the illumination coming through there. So the perfectly timed recon arrow will, give away the position of the Sova on Texas A&M, and he can't move all that much because he's using his ultimate. So he gets the spray down, or as he's using the ultimate, Jabal will get the spray down and pick up a kill to put us at a 4v4. Now, Boise State does have 4 ultimates online. So any one of those could provide what they need to finish out this round. Not if Yimmy picks up 2 of his own. We're back in a 2v2. Broken with the ult will not get what he needs until he does. Excuse me.
Until he does.
The first round of knives do not connect with what he needs, but the second updraft and peek around the corner will get the knife kill to finish off the last of Texas A&M as Boise State go up 6-3 on this round of Ascent. And like we talked about before, Ascent is incredibly defender favored. So, and while there is, some issues with when you can recontest and when you can retake points because of how hard it is to push into each one of these sites and things like that, most players and casters and community would agree that Ascent is D-side favored. So, it will be interesting to see if Texas A&M can come up with more success once the sides flip, or if it's only going to get worse from here on out, because Boise State, while they are dropping rounds, much the same as in Haven, it seems like they're dropping rounds due to, just some mistakes on their part. Now, absolutely Yimmy making some hero plays, picking up a couple rounds for his team. But I think Boise State do have the capability to play even better than they're doing now, if that's at all possible, if they, just tighten up some small little things. Jazak will get a shock dart kill to open up the round here, and Jazak will get one of his own, so we're at 3v5. Boise State, for some reason, even though B-side is completely abandoned, they are choosing not to move into it. They're going to pick up frags of their own until it's just no mercenary remaining, and even then, he's not long for this world. 7-3, Boise State in the lead.
Did you know that you could also win the round by planting the spike and having it blow up? Because I don't know if Boise State has the memo quite yet.
Wait, you what? There's a bomb
you can
in
win
this
by
game?
just not. Technically, you don't have to kill anyone. You just have to plant the bomb and get away with it. But Boise State, again, knowing that their win con is kind of continued superior gunplay, but when there's a team such as Texas A&M that does have some players on their squad that can outperform, it's a question as to whether or not this is a certifiable win condition here, especially as, oh my goodness, Simbo's going to make short work here of the health bar from that player. Unfortunately, they do lose that utility as they do no longer have that Sova. Nice spot here. Jazik was able to somehow hear and immediately click over. Unfortunately, Broken not with a quick response time. That's kind of my response time. They've already walked past and gone back to cover, and then I'll shoot. Definitely out of vision, but it's not enough. Jabal's going to go for 1, maybe 2 here. Again, a flawless here for Boise State as they are able to split the aggression. They kind of forced Texas A&M into a lose-lose situation because every juncture that they were able to rotate from, there was handily enough Boise State members defending that post.
Yeah, the neural theft from Pittman comes in at the absolute perfect time there. He reveals players absolutely exactly as they're pushing into the site, so it leaves the defenders, attackers become defenders in the retake scenario. Plenty of time to react and spray down 2 players in quick succession, picking up the round win for themselves there. But the Seabass has no interest in letting this go to a longer round. He wants to pick up kills now as he gets a very early wallbang kill and puts Boise State at a man disadvantage. The Owl Drone's going to come out here. Going to see what they can see, but the Op will take that out very quickly as well. Although, that said, the Hunter's Fury is going to come in and try and catch out. He'll get it! He gets the kill using the Hunter's Fury onto the Seabass. So that's the Op down on the ground. Perhaps Texas A&M can pick it up, but for the immediate time, it is not a threat. Boise State can push into mid if they so choose, as the op is not watching.
That's definitely one way to fish, Voiceless, is shoot a giant electrocuting arrow into the ocean.
That's how I like to fish.
I don't recommend, for those at home, please don't try that. That's just a very bad idea.
Zeke has not used, if I'm not mistaken, has not used his ultimate yet on the Omen in either map. So Boise State just don't feel like they need a global teleport at any point. They're more interested in using the utility and base kit that the Omen provides. That blind, incredibly frustrating to push into. So I think that they're more interested in the base kit of Omen rather than his ultimate, because that just hasn't been used.
Yeah, it's tough because the way that Boise State moves, it's so much cohesion that you don't have an opportunity to go for a flank. So you need to be there as one of the point guards. Boise State going to go for a nice firefight, but it's just one member versus two as Texas A&M does engage this fight, but from too many angles, they're split too thin. Can this player, Symbols, Pittman, whatever you want to call them, they do clutch it up and they are able to get the round win for themselves. It doesn't really matter if you pick up any sort of gun because... oh, no, they had plenty of time. That was a great call there from Pittman then.
Actually, you were right the first time. It doesn't matter if he picks up the gun because we're switching halves, so he doesn't get to keep it
I was
anyway.
right all along.
You were right all along. So Boise State going to swap, become the defenders now as Texas A&M become the attackers. So we'll see if they have any more success.
Where's the sheriff, guys? Come on.
The sheriff, I know you love it. Baratel.
I do.
I think the issue with it from a meta standpoint is that in all situations except extreme long range, the Ghost does one-shot headshot damage, same as the Sheriff, again, except in extremely long range. But it leaves you 300 credits to buy utility. So I think in most cases, you'll see competitive players favoring the Ghost because you get a little bit of utility to go with it. Whereas if you invest in the Sheriff, that's all you buy.
It's a smart choice, but that's not the meme choice, though.
I know.
Nice scouting out. The firebolt will be given over, so that means, again, it's kind of the linchpin for success for Boise State. That crucial information will be given over to them, and they've earned it. Going to deny as much of that same information away from their opponents, and this is the typical setup, and this is going to force Texas A&M to make a decision despite being on the attack. I feel like Boise State's put them in a place where they're forced to react instead.
They absolutely are. They're trying to decide if they favor going through gardens. They're posted up at Catwalk. I think they're going to go for a two-pronged attack, a couple coming in from main and a couple coming in from Catwalk all at once. They are not going to find anybody from Boise State on site itself. However, at the back of the site, underneath in heaven and underneath heaven, you will get a lot of Boise State players picking up all the kills they need, as that is a very quick kill. It went from everybody being alive to nobody being alive in no time.
I did like that. Cypher walks in on Cypher, but Cypher then kills two of Cypher's allies and then says, "Oh, I'll kill you real quick," and that's what ended up happening. But a 2-for-1 trade for Boise State is one that they're more than comfortable making because, again, each of these players is more than confident and trusts the capability of their teammates.
Absolutely. There are even times in this game where you're comfortable dying and getting no kills. Sometimes you put a lot of damage down on a lot of the enemy team and make them vulnerable. Sometimes you get the information you need to, let a bomb finally go off or, let your team rotate to get to where they need to be. So this game is more than the sum of the kills you pick up. And dying is sometimes the right call in order to get what you need, in order to get the round win, let your teammates get in the right position, things like that. Zeke will see. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Going to be a bit of explosions here. Jazik will get one here on the backside. C-Boss will be found out, a fish out of water, if you will. They do have the judge here available. That's a nice alternative here from the sheriff. Going to go over the wall. Nice updraft. He's going to pick up one. That is a cheeky play, but Broken more than happy to do it to him.
Updraft plus judge equals Broken.
I was going to say there's a song, and I don't know how much I'm going to date myself by quoting this, but they say that you can't always get to what you want. That's what they say.
I don't know that song. Not from one line, anyway. You might have to sing it for me.
You ever heard of the Rolling Stones?
Yes. I don't know if I could pick out their songs from one line, though.
Well, the song's title is that. You can't always get what you want.
Oh, all right, all right.
They also say, but if you try sometime, you find you get what you need, and that's what Boise State's doing. You do want the KDA, but you also need the win, and that's what they're doing.
They're going to send the Owl drone in there, going to try and find out exactly, and they will get lucky. They're going to see that all of Texas A&M are posted outside of Garage. They're going to play it slow. They know that Boise State favors the aggression. They're going to try and catch them out by getting somebody to push into them. But Boise State's not biting.
Where's the Ares? Where's the Odin?
Boise State is not biting. They are posted up. They are going to force Texas A&M to move into them. And they are finally going to start pushing through Garage with about a minute left. The dark covers are down. And they will all be revealed by a beautiful recon arrow. Jabald will spray through the smoke and get 2 kills before backing up.
Wow.
And Jazak will get another with the shock arrow. So there's just 2 remaining. Jabald will finally go down to the Seabass, the Ares spray.
There it is.
You're not shooting at anybody, unfortunately, Jazak. He doesn't know that, but he's going to pick up the Vandal. That's a little better at long range than the Ares will
nine
be.
bullets, you reload, buddy.
Oh! Will not get the spray. Now,
left.
Texas A&M are going to move away. They do not want to try and push in there, but Boise State see it coming a mile away.
Here's
Zeke
the
posted up
crossroads.
outside mid. The second someone peeks into his vision cone, they're dead. The spike goes down, and he gets another.
Oh my
the headshot.
goodness.
Seabass goes down, and Boise State are on match point, looking to close us out and send themselves to the round of 16 in the next round of these NACE Skill Shot Valorant playoffs. One more win, and they're on their way.
Very valiant. Whoa! Whoa! We got one more.
We got one more potential
To be
spoiler
fair,
ahead.
though, yeah, that could be the ultimate caster curse. Texas A&M has done a valiant job taking, like, I think, in total, more rounds off of Boise State than has ever been given to their opponents before. But it's hard to say whether or not they'll be able to mount a comeback here, as they are down not only in the round perspective, but at this point, continuing to have to buy their weapons and loadouts every time they falter. It's got to be pretty costly, too.
Yeah, I think their ego is in a pretty bad position. Not that Broken cares. After 6 rounds in a row, he's still running with the cheapo judge. But hey, if it works for you, why change it? They're going to trade out 1 for 1. Pittman will get a headshot onto No Mercenary, but somebody, looks like the Jet will go down for Boise State. Pittman will get another one from around the corner as they have a crossfire set up. 1 from heaven, 1 from behind boxes. Jabald answering back. There's only 1 remaining. It's just the Seabass is going to try and play the heroics. He's going to try and get what he needs. It is a 2v1, and only 1 is on site here for Boise State. The blind comes out, but it's just enough time to distract. Jazak will get the wall bang.
What a debate.
He uses the blind to force the movement of the gun and then peeks. Gets what he needs, activates the Empress at the end just for good measure as Boise State.
There we go.
There we go. Picks up the graphic that they were deserving of the entire time. They will get the round win. They will move on from the round of 32 to the round of 16, and they will be victorious in the round in this match against Texas A&M. But a valiant performance from Texas A&M all around. Like you mentioned, as we went into that final round there, that is more rounds than we have seen anybody take off of any of these Boise State teams so far in the playoffs or in their season so far. So, extremely well done there from Texas A&M.
Yeah, you got to give kudos where kudos is due. They forced Boise State not to rest on the laurels of just that strict gunplay advantage that they've had. They had some players that were good at the gun game too, and they continued to force Boise State. Or there were some times in which they forced Boise State to get themselves out of the proactive seat and made them react, which again is something very uncommon that we've seen so far this season. So again, kudos to Texas A&M. You guys are a phenomenal team with a tremendous amount of potential. Just some little things to work on, though.
I absolutely agree with you. And as you mentioned it, I realized that Boise State's biggest moments of struggle, the rounds that they ended up dropping, where especially where Yimi was able to pick up those aces, were in moments where Boise State was forced to be the reactionary team, not the aggressors. So maybe a chink in the armor for Boise State as they push into future rounds, the round of 16 and upwards as we go. That may be what comes back to bite them as they advance. We'll see if they can overcome that weakness or if that will cause their playoff run to end, as we're going to find out in future matches. I believe that is it for us here tonight. But we will be coming back at you next week with a couple matches from the round of 16. We've got both teams playing their round of 16 matches. We're going to see how they do. We're going to see if they can make it to the quarterfinals. That will be mostly it for here tonight. For us, it has been late. Valorant came after Overwatch, which was a very long, hard grind fest. So we do not have any top 5 plays, and we don't have a player of the match for you here tonight. I believe we are just going to sign off. So I've been Tim Voiceless Whitman, and I have been joined here by Jared Baratel Castiglione, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good night.